I'm sure most of you are aware that Dillian Whyte is scheduled to fight on the undercard of Terence Crawford versus Julius Indongo in Nebraska in the United States. And there's a lot of speculation about who Dillian Whyte might fight on that undercard. Some people are saying Bryant Jennings, other people are saying Dominic Breazeale, and some people are even saying Jarrell Miller. Well, I don't think it's going to be any of those guys. Jarrell Miller already has a fight scheduled, so I'm not sure why people are bringing his name up, because he's got a fight scheduled in a week's time against Gerald Washington, so he won't be fighting Dillian Whyte after that. Then you've got Bryant Jennings, who, yes, Dillian Whyte does want to fight Bryant Jennings, and Bryant Jennings is actually fighting on that card, but he's fighting in an 8-rounder. So is Dillian Whyte. Yeah, if you go look at BoxRec and look at the Julius Indongo Terence Crawford card, look down the list of fights, you'll see Bryant Jennings against TBA in an 8-rounder, Dillian Whyte versus TBA in an 8-rounder. So they're both in 8-rounders. That means they're not going to fight each other. And then lastly, people are talking about Dominic Breazeale fighting Dillian Whyte. Two reasons why I can't see that fight happening on that card. One, like I've just said, Whyte is scheduled for an 8-rounder. For two, Dominic Breazeale is an Al Haymon fighter. And this card is a Bob Arum card. Top rank, Bob Arum. Bob Arum and Al Haymon don't get along. And even if they can do some type of business, why would Al Haymon put one of his bigger name heavyweights in an 8-rounder against Dillian Whyte on a Bob Arum undercard? Does that make any business sense to you? The fact that Whyte is so far down the undercard and that it's an 8-rounder says to me that he's most likely going to be facing a journeyman. As far as I'm aware, it would have to be Bob Arum that's going to stump up the money to pay for the opponents of Dillian Whyte and Bryant Jennings. And I guess he's not willing to stump up any decent money. Him or Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn's involved in the promotion as well. He's promoting Julius Indongo. So I can't see Dillian Whyte fighting anybody but a journeyman in this 8-rounder on the undercard of Crawford Indongo. It is what it is. If he was to fight somebody like Dominic Breazeale, I would imagine Eddie Hearn would try and have it in the UK, and he'd put it, if not top of the bill, he'd put it, second maybe on a Joshua undercard, perhaps. Maybe have Joshua fight in his next defense of his title, and then have Dillian Whyte on the undercard against a Dominic Breazeale or whoever. On a Bob Arum card and an 8-rounder in the United States, I can't see it happening. It's a because that Dominic Breazeale is quite a risky fight for Dillian Whyte. Is Eddie Hearn going to do that and not really profit from it? Because nobody knows Dillian Whyte in the United States. Hardly anybody knows Dominic Breazeale there. So, no, that's not going to happen, man. I'd like to see Dillian Whyte against any of those guys that I've mentioned in the video, but this is not the particular time when I see it happening. I think this is just a case of getting Dillian Whyte out there in the United States, getting him some exposure stateside, and hopefully a spectacular knockout that'll look good for the broadcasters and whatever, and make it easier next time they take Dillian Whyte to the United States to actually get him a more legitimate opponent. That's probably what it is. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you know something I don't. If you do, drop it in the comment section below. All right, it's happening. I'm out.